Welcome to Food Exposed, where each week we talk about the story behind what's on your plate. I'm your host, Jackie Keller, and today we're talking about teenagers. You know, whether you have one, you are one, or you know one, listen up. 13 to 17 can be a really confusing age. It can be confusing for lots of reasons, but particularly with respect to body image and self-awareness. Here's some interesting statistics from the World Health Organization. 43% of the world is currently under 25. About 16 million girls aged 15 to 19 give birth every year. An estimated 150 million young people use tobacco. Alcohol use starts at a young age. 14% of adolescent girls and 18% of adolescent boys aged 13 to 15 use alcohol. In any given year, about 20% of the adolescents will experience a mental health problem. Suicide is the leading cause of death in young people. And despite our cultural obsession with diets and being thin, obesity is increasing among young people in both low and high income countries. Nearly 2/3 of premature death and about 1/3 of the total disease burden that we experience as adults is related to health practices that start in our youth years. So clearly, establishing good health practices at a very young age is especially important just for the health of our population as a whole and for us as we age. And for that reason, I am very, very privileged to welcome today our guest. Amita Swadhin is the Los Angeles Executive Director of Peer Health Exchange, and she has dedicated her practice and her business model to helping students and young people learn more about their bodies and deal with these issues. Amita, welcome to Food Exposed. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much for having me, Jackie.
Tell us about Peer Health Exchange. You know, we don't hear about it very much. Tell us.
I like to think that we're the best kept nonprofit secret in the world. So we're a national organization. We have been in existence for 10 years. We've been here in Los Angeles for 5 years. And our model is basically empowering teenagers to make healthy decisions. We do that by training college student volunteers to teach a comprehensive health curriculum in high schools that lack public high schools that lack health education and in which a majority of students come from low-income households.
So you recruit college kids to volunteer to go into high schools, to go back and relate to ninth graders?
Yes, that's right. We're specifically in the ninth grade. You know, we know that so much changes for a teenager in that ninth grade year. They're often going to parties for the first time with much older kids. They are actually, you know, making decisions around whether to have sex, around whether to use drugs or alcohol, and in general, facing a lot of the self-esteem challenges that you talked about. So it's a pivotal year, and that's why we target the ninth grade.
So what are the biggest challenges that you face with this group and, you know, with the model that you've established?
I think that, you know, that there's a lot of good things about the model. Teenagers listen to their peers much more than adults. You could have the best teacher in the world, but I'm 35 now. I've been in the classroom since I was about 19 as a peer educator.
Wow.
And so I really believe in the model because I've seen a shift when I walk into a classroom now to observe our college volunteers. There's this hush and people are like, who's this lady? Why is she here? Whereas our college students, you know, they are in a hoodie sweatshirt, they're in some jeans, they're 18 to 21. They're able to captivate the classroom right away. And it's really compelling. We have a lot of data on our impact on the teenagers and how they actually grow in their knowledge and skills from the workshops that the college students are presenting.
Great. That is just wonderful. And what about the bureaucracy? I mean, LA is a big place. I know you're a national organization, but your area of responsibility is this big monolith that we call Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Tell me about bureaucracy and how does that affect your work?
I'd like to answer that on two different levels. So first, we're a county. I think it's taken some time for our national organization to really wrap their heads around, we're not just Los Angeles City. There's 81 school districts here.
Oh my God. I'm a native and I didn't realize there were that many school districts in LA.
Yeah, and we're the largest county in the
amazing.
United States. So just thinking through which teens are we going to serve here and why is a challenge in and of itself. We've started, this is our 5th year in Los Angeles, and we've started with LAUSD. I think LAUSD has its own challenges, and I think also the need is not as obvious as in some of the smaller districts within LA County. So a lot of people don't realize that LAUSD actually has a high school graduation requirement around health education. Now that doesn't necessarily mean there is a certified health teacher in every LAUSD high school.
I can speak to that because my kids are LAUSD kids, and it hasn't been that long since they've been out of high school, and they both had health education in their classroom, but neither one was taught by a health ed teacher.
Yeah, and so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
So I think part of our challenge is that we sometimes get high school principals reaching out to us directly within LAUSD saying, hey, you're a free program, we need this program here, come and serve our students, and we don't always have the permission of the district to do that. So that can be frustrating at times. I think on the flip side, because LA is huge, even within LAUSD, a lot of people don't realize that we actually have the largest number of charter school students in the country.
Wow.
There's a lot of exciting, innovative things happening in education nationwide, and LA is kind of a hotbed for that. So, these are Title I public schools, low-income public schools that are not able to afford a health education teacher. So that's largely who we partner with now. We have 25 high school partners this year within LAUSD's geographic districts.
That's a lot of schools. How
It
many
is.
students do you serve?
We're reaching over 3,000 ninth graders this year with 300 college student volunteers from USC, UCLA, Occidental, and Cal State Northridge.
Now, are you looking for more students, more schools, or more volunteers? Or, how can the community support what you do?
Yes to all of the above. We get calls from district administrators and teachers, and even this summer there was a 9th grade high school student in Long Beach Unified, and health education recently got cut there about 2 years ago, from what I understand, who heard about our program in some summer research project she was doing and said, can you come and serve our school? So
wow.
Obviously that's compelling. You don't want to ever say no to a teenager who's saying, come and help me, and that's what our program was founded to do. I think some of our constraints are around having the network of supporters and revenue that will let us grow at a rapid enough pace to meet the need that's there. We've had a waiting list every single year that we've operated, and we are trying to broker relationships with districts beyond LAUSD now, since there are 80 other ones.
Wow.
But we're looking for board members, we're looking for adult mentors for our college volunteers. We're building a talent pipeline as a secondary impact, in addition to empowering the teenagers themselves to have the knowledge and skills to make healthy decisions. We've got this cadre of 2,000 volunteers throughout the country this year, about 7,000 throughout the 10 years that we've existed, who are now interested in public health and public education as a career. So we're looking for mentors for them, and we're looking for relationships within community partnerships and school districts who can help us grow and serve even more teens here in LA County.
Wow, you have such a full plate. What's the biggest challenge for you personally with all of that?
That's a great question. I got into this work for some very personal reasons. I'm a survivor of child sexual abuse and domestic violence.
Wow.
And I'm very public about that because I think in order to really be a good role model for teenagers, we have to destigmatize the reality that a lot of young people are facing at home. And so for me, a challenge is a lot of our supporters like to pull our curriculum apart. There's 11 health topics that we teach. Nutrition and physical activity is one.
Right.
But they say, I'm really interested in this one topic, and I'm going to support you in that one topic area. And I think, the reason that I was drawn to Peer Health Exchange is we're such a holistic model. We teach about rape and sexual assault prevention and treatment. We teach about mental health. We teach about safer sex for a lot of the reasons that you listed in the statistics that you went over. It's a teenager can't pull apart the effects of body dysmorphia and poor self-esteem just being about the food and the drinks that they put into their body every day. Of course, that's a big part of it. But I think you also have to help young people really care about themselves. And so what's challenging for me is knowing how much access to healing that I've had and really wanting to find a way to provide that in as holistic a manner as possible for the teens that we're serving.
Yeah. Well, you do great work, and what a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful opportunity it is for the community to get to know a little bit more about you, and realizing that that is a free resource for a body of people that don't have access under normal circumstances to the kind of information and the quality delivery method. I know that there's a lot of research that goes into your curriculum.
Yeah, there is.
And one of the things that I was hoping to share today are just some fun, easy, quick ideas for school lunches. Even though it's not everything, you know, we do know that nutrition and healthy nutritional practices are the base of, you know, a lot of learning that can happen. So I thought today we would take a quick look at some easy, fast, nutritious, delicious school lunches and see what we can throw together.
I'm excited about this, especially because the teens that we serve are often living in neighborhoods that, you know, we talk about food deserts and access to good produce. And so I'm really excited for you to show us something that any teenager in any community in Los Angeles
This
can
is
make.
pretty simple.
Okay, great, great.
All right, well, let's go cook.
Great.
Well, it's time to cook, Amita, and what I thought we would do today is prepare a really, really simple dish that basically anybody can make, any age. Now, we're talking, you know, not just high schoolers. I think you can start even younger with this one. And the other nice thing I like about this dish is that it's inexpensive. And let's face it, we need affordable food. It can't be about what the wealthiest can afford. It's got to be about what anyone can afford. So that's why I chose this dish. And also it has some great nutritional properties because it's a balanced meal. And so what we're creating is something is high in fiber, high in protein, low in fat. So it's going to be good for heart health. It's going to be good for brain functioning. It's going to have a high satiety value. So this is something that will stick with students of any age and adults as well, and really kind of fuel you for the day. So
Great. I'm excited. I think I'm going to learn something. I'm not the best cook, so if I can do it, I think any teenager can do it.
Well, this is simple, trust me. You know, there's a couple of key ingredients here. One of them is enchilada sauce. Now, we don't make our own, and we make our own, but we don't advocate that everybody has to make their own. What you do need to know, though, when you're choosing enchilada sauce, is that it's, you know, a combination recipe of whatever the manufacturer chose to put in it. So even though a brand may be expensive, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily more healthful than the next brand. And one of the key things with enchilada sauce is the sodium content. And so what you want to do is always, as you're shopping for it, pick up the can, look at the nutrition facts label, and check to see that you're selecting one that has as close to 140 milligrams per serving as you can get, or less, because that is the legal limit for a low sodium product. And what we're looking for, particularly with the underserved populations, is a way to minimize the risk of high blood pressure and the resulting illnesses that can complicate heart health. So low sodium,
Great.
Enchilada sauce. And then the other key thing, of course, is having whole wheat. When we want grains, and we want whole grains in the diet. So whole wheat tortillas or corn tortillas, which are also whole grain, would work in this recipe because there's a lot of different ways we can make it. But if you are going to go with a flour product, you want to make sure that it's based in whole grains.
I love that you're bringing this up. This is exactly how our nutrition and physical activity workshop is structured, of just simple everyday choices that a teenager can make, knowing how to look for whole grains,
look this one, not
sodium
that one.
count. Absolutely.
That's very simple. And then, of course, depending on how hot you like your food, whether you put in chilies or you don't put in chilies, this is a jalapeno chili, and it's fairly mild if you take the seeds and the veins out. Okay. The heat is not in the flesh, it's in the seeds and the veins. So you want to make sure that you seed and devein those. So real simply, I'm going to spray our skillet with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil spray. And this is you can find this in every grocery store. And let's get some meat in there before we burn this thing. Actually, I think I'll put a few chilies in there.
Great.
And you like it spicy?
I'm Indian American. I do like spicy food.
Okay, all right, all right. So just to take a little bit of the heat off. Oh, there we go.
Get the smoke alarms going in here.
Yeah. Well, it's this induction cooking, so we're just going to get something in here so we don't burn the stuff. I have pre-cooked ground turkey with some enchilada sauce. So that's as simple as it gets. You brown the ground turkey, add a little enchilada sauce to it, and The rest is just in the seasoning. I have some fresh tomatoes.
Okay. Just chopped up.
Just chopped up. And these can come out of a can, but I would suggest that, let's turn this down, that fresh is better. So once we've got this going here, and the meat, by the way, when you start with raw meat, it does cook very quickly. So what I like to do is make a big batch of the meat, and then I freeze some of it. And you know, these are really inexpensive little food-safe containers. You can buy them in a sleeve of 25 from Smart & Final. They cost almost nothing, but they're designed. What I like about them is they're designed for food. You know, they're not like a margarine tub that you have left over that you put leftovers in. It's really designed for food, and they freeze beautifully. They stack up. They're really inexpensive, and we're also going to add in a little bit of a salt and sugar-free spice blend. This is one of my blends, but it's like a chili powder, and I like it because I thought of it.
I would imagine you like it.
You can use any kind of chili powder. So again, depending on whether you've added chilies into the mixture or you like it hot and spicy, what I'm really trying to emphasize here is don't add salt. You know, we've got a little bit of sodium in the enchilada sauce. We chose a low sodium one. We made a good decision there. So why would you then turn around and add more salt to it? If you want flavor, add spices, but don't add the salt.
And I heard you say stay away from sugar too, right? Check
Absolutely. And you know, one of the things that you don't realize is that these spice blends are, again, a combination of whatever the manufacturer chose to put in them. So a lot of times you're not even aware that the first ingredient might be salt. And
gotta read the label.
Gotta read the label. Now we're ready to make the burrito.
Great.
So this is where you come in.
Okay,
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay,
I think
all right,
so. As ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. So you're gonna take a tortilla, a flour tortilla, and we can just grab one, nice soft one, and then we're gonna put in it some of our meat.
Okay.
And we can add a little bit of low-fat cheese to that.
And the low-fat part is important, I'm guessing.
Because, you know, the fat that's found in cheese is highly saturated milk fat, and you don't need that milk fat. I mean, the fact of the matter is that, you know, it's like having whole milk, drinking whole milk. As adults, we know that's not good fat for us. We don't need that fat. So reduced fat cheese is like drinking reduced fat milk. And the lower the fat content, the better. What we're looking for is good melting properties and good flavoring properties, and this cheese has both without that high saturated fat.
Great.
You can add a little bit of lettuce to that if you want. You got to go easy, because once it gets too full, I'm kind of setting you up here.
Oh, great.
Don't take it personally. All right, so now the burrito wrap. Start with the sides,
Okay.
fold in both sides. Okay, let's add a little bit more space, because what you're going to want to do is now fold the bottom up and roll it the rest of the way.
Got it.
All right, so you see what happens when you
Yeah,
overfill
I
it.
overfilled it.
All right, now turn it upside down real quick and squash it.
Squash it. Okay.
All
Great.
right. So it kind of, what you're doing here is you're sealing it so that the cheese will melt and kind of seal the burrito.
Got it.
And then it is a little messy to eat.
Great. You are totally setting me up. This is going to be fun.
But, you know, the other thing I wanted to point out is that this is a burrito. And, you know, not everybody can have cheese. Not everybody can have wheat. But let's say you love the idea and you just wanted to nix that. You could just make a taco salad out of it the same way by taking a little bit of your lettuce, and then you could add a little bit of your meat on top, and some tomatoes to your taste.
Great.
And if you wanted to, because as you said, you like it spicy.
I do like it spicy, that's true. And so these are just fresh chopped up jalapenos.
That's just fresh chopped up jalapenos.
Okay.
And there you go. And it's just a simple
Great.
little taco salad. And now, of course, the proof is in the tasting.
Oh gosh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try the taco salad
Okay.
so I don't spill burrito all over myself.
I did set you up.
It's good.
Is it spicy enough for you?
If I get the jalapeno right in there, yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. So again, an example of a very inexpensive meal. This can be made with, pennies, literally, and it can be made ahead, put in the refrigerator, then you grab it when you're ready to go to school, and it's there for you.
I love that there are simple choices in each of the ingredients that teenagers can make to be healthier, even if they're preparing a simple meal, that it doesn't have to be fast and unhealthy.
Absolutely. And you know what? If you didn't have the money for the meat or you chose to not have animal, you could just do black beans with this. The whole recipe would work just as well.
Just checking for the sodium, right?
There you go. So
I got
Amita,
it.
I know that the audience wants to be able to find you. They want to be able to follow Pure Health Exchange, and they want to stay connected to you. What's the best way for them to do that?
Great. Well, we have a website, www.purehealthexchange.org, and we also have a Facebook page that anyone can click like, and I encourage you to do that to keep up with our posts about our volunteers and our teenagers, just Pure Health Exchange. And then if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at @Swadhin.
Well, thank you so much for coming today. It was really a pleasure, and I look forward to staying connected to Pure Health Exchange myself and staying current with what you're doing. It's great work. Thank you for dedicating yourself to the community the way you have. We really, really appreciate it, and God knows we need it, right? So have a great afternoon and continue the good fight.
Thank you so much, Jackie. It was great to be here with you today.
My pleasure. Research shows us that our self-talk really influences how we behave. Basically, we have our own inner dialogue, and it drives our behavior. And this is true at any age, whether you're an adolescent, whether you're an adult, whether you're a child. We talk to ourselves, and that makes us do what we do. So what's the best way to get yourself to do something? Well, research shows us that giving yourself permission to do something, as opposed to dictating behavior, is really what's going to make a difference in how the outcome is read. For example, if you say to yourself, I will go do this, it's like you're forcing yourself, like you're compelling yourself, as opposed to saying, I'm thinking that I might go do this, or I am considering going do this, and giving yourself permission to make that decision. That's really what's going to influence your behavior. That's what's going to make you want to go do something. And as a parent and as an educator, as a coach, I see this all the time. You know, if you tell people the decision is yours, you're in control, you're in the driver's seat, either you want to do it for yourself or you don't, you're going to make that decision based on your own inner motivation. We do better when we're motivated internally than when we're motivated externally or compelled externally. So the message is your self-talk drives you. Give yourself permission, give yourself autonomy, give it to the people around you, give it to the people you love, and everybody will be happier and behaviors and outcomes will be much more positive. That's my talk today. That's my coaching moment. I hope you'll watch the show. I hope you'll share it with your friends and family. I hope that it helps you, and I hope you'll turn in next week for another episode of Food Exposed. For more Food Exposed, check me out on emPOWERme.tv. And until next week, remember, make food your best friend and exercise your companion for life.